Truth here, and it's time for more Otaku Evolution. Be sure to like, subscribe, and contribute to the Patreon. Today I look at a space epic that involves war, political philosophy, and the complexities of power and its application. Yep, today we finally get to Legend of the Galactic Oh, wait, no. No, today we're reviewing Crest of the Stars. Shit. I really want to review Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Well, like LOGH, Crest of the Stars is based on a series of novels, in this case written by Hiroyuki Morioka. Much like LOGH's books, Morioka's Crest of the Stars won the coveted Seiun Award and was adapted into an anime that science fiction anime fans swear by. Both series featured ship-to-ship combat, strong alliances, and maybe a little Imperial apologia. Crest of the Stars, the 13-episode anime, came out in 1999 from Sunrise, broadcasting on the WoW WoW Japanese cable station, which also aired the uncut Cowboy Bebop, as well as anime like Big O, Now and Then Here and There, and Paranoia Agent. So it's in pretty good company. The question is Crest of the Stars any good? The answer is, well, kind of? It definitely feels like an incomplete, even a trifle of a story, but it had a lot of potential. It's just that it's really unhelpful to compare it to LOGH. LOGH is a nigh peerless masterpiece. Crest of the Stars is a good little sci-fi story. In a far-flung future where mankind has inhabited several planets and systems, the Abh Empire looms large, incorporating many societies into its own via conquest. One such system the Abh invades, the Hyde Star System, surrenders to the superiorly armed Empire with no fight, in return for favors for its ruling family. The son of the president of the Hyde System, Jinto, who becomes an Abh nobleman in training, meets a young woman of the Abh, Lafiel, who is actually royalty, but is in training herself as a pilot trainee. The two find themselves in the struggle between the Abh and the anti-Abh Four Nations Alliance.
Now, Jinto, come on! Welcome!
Get back!
Unlike Legend of the Galactic Heroes, Crest of the Stars doesn't have dozens of colorful characters. It has Jinto and Lafiel, which are our focus for good or ill. There are a few other characters to be sure, some of them kind of interesting, but the show is definitely about Jinto and Lafiel, and there's no room for doubt. Everything revolves around Jinto and Lafiel's interactions with each other, and their reactions to the happenings that surround them. Jinto is a bit awkward, very polite, but not at all experienced in space travel, so he is often ignorant of the life of the Abh. He has a strong sense of justice despite being the beneficiary of nepotism, and grows to appreciate his time with the princess. Lafiel, for her part, is awkward in her own way, not being used to planetside life, occasionally serious to a fault, and incredibly strong-willed. She doesn't put on much airs, fortunately, and is willing to listen to advice and criticism.
Hey, Jinto.
What is it?
So now do you regret becoming an Abh?
No, why should I regret it? Hey, an Abh is what I am. You told me that yourself.
Good night.
We spent a couple of episodes with the crew of the ship Gosroth, captained by Lexu, and staffed by her capable subordinates. The Gosroth crew is put into an impossible situation and struggle to survive against overwhelming odds. Lexu is actually the genetic mother of Lafiel, though not royalty, and their relationship isn't acknowledged between the two. But it's revealed that despite treating Lafiel like any other pilot trainee, she's very proud of her. Honestly, I could have spent more time with Lexu and the Gosroth crew. The show makes you think for a bit that they'll be important characters to the story, but Jinto and Lafiel escape from the ship pretty early on, and we don't see them interact with them ever again.
Sword frequently presents incomplete spiral curves on the side of the plane space, but we have no idea as to what part of that curve will come out of.
Finished confirming position on the right shore, 117 and 90.
Acknowledged.
I think my favorite character, though there's sparse characterization of her, is an Abh officer named Spoor, who is also a Grand Duchess. She's your classic badass battle-hungry commander who is dreadfully bored when there's nobody to fight. Because of her boredom, she delights in teasing her first officer, and using tactics that might make others blanch. She's equal parts fierce and playful, and I wish the show had spent much more time with her. Seriously, they could have done a whole mini-series just based on Spoor, and it would have been better than the whole of this series.
Communications officer, inform all units that we will respect their wish to surrender at any time, and add that those surrendering after the battle has begun will unfortunately be thoroughly obliged to travel to the capital through ordinary space only. To save travel time, the ship will unload space-time orb generators, gravitational devices, and stabilizers, and there will be no crew.
What you have to understand about the Abh is that they aren't, strictly speaking, alien life forms. At least, they aren't inhuman. The original Abh were genetically altered humans, created specifically for life in space. Their genetic code has been changed for better adaptability to the rigors of space travel. The ethnically Abh look like space elves, and they are incredibly long-lived, but they are essentially human. So in a way, they're merely fulfilling their purpose, being bred for space travel and warfare. Kind of bit original humanity on the ass, didn't it? Since the Abh now control half of human civilization.
Okay then, let's go to war.
Majesty, please think this matter over. You must realize that you will have to fight against half of all humankind.
Have you forgotten, Ambassador? The other half belongs to this empire.
Despite its similarities to Legend of the Galactic Heroes, it is a far cry from as epic in scope or even characterization. As I alluded to before, there is a dearth of both character development or really any true color to a lot of the characters. Even Jinto and Lafiel, now let's say especially Jinto and Lafiel, are kind of flat characters with very few discernible characteristics. Sometimes dialogue from one could easily be dialogue from the other, they can be so interchangeable, despite having completely different backgrounds. Many characters fall into easy cliches. The band of plucky resistance fighters, the obsessed pursuer, the wicked baron, the fire-forged friends, the arrogant noble, the unlucky subordinate, and show nothing but that to them. A lot of these so-called characters could use personality bumps, because in some ways they remind me of Gundam Seed characters. That is to say, just general outlines for characters, instead of blood-pumping individuals with quirks, flaws, and ambitions.
If I didn't kill him, he would have killed us.
I know that, okay? Still...
That's enough, young man.
Huh?
There's nothing for you to be excited about. You just didn't want to see Her Highness kill someone, am I right?
Is it true what the former Baron just said?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
And that's Crest of the Stars. There's really not a lot to say about it, especially without comparing it to better anime of its type. It sort of forces those comparisons with its meager, thin characterizations and go-nowhere plot. It has a lot of great potential, mind you. The way that space travel is represented, space battles unfold, and politics complicate. You'd think this was a grand space opera epic with tons of interlocking complexities and colorful dramatics. The setup of the narratives and character background certainly set the stage for grand things, but none ever flesh out. What we get is a meager tale with meager characters. To think, people compare this to LOGH. Maybe its sequel, Banner of the Stars, does more with the concepts. I'll get to it. Anyway, that's enough Otaku evolution for now. You know, the winter holidays are just around the corner, so it's time for me to get to this year's Listmas video. I always love doing those, in the holiday atmosphere. I pulled out all the stops for this year's Listmas, so prepare yourself. Until then, see ya!
I'll tell you this much for certain. The Empire lacks the faith in a higher being. There is absolutely no way you can win.
Of course, our empire does not have such faith. However, I never knew such faith had anything to do with the outcome of a battle. It must be one of your superstitions.
And that is why the ideal state, which would represent the people zealously as a matter of course, is only a transition to a stateless society. Moving on from that, it's also important to remember that all wealth is inherently political. There's no such thing as a wealthy political outsider. Almost all wealth is garnered through political or economic coercion and the exploitation of the worker. A millionaire or billionaire is not a political outsider. All hands that pass money are through the sleeves of the politician. Don't allow anyone to convince you that a rich man's some maverick neophyte that the gates of politics just barely open up for, just because they never held office before. Yes? That is a good question, little one. I suppose it's impossible to deny my continued political influence within the sphere of the Penguin Revolution, both at its inception up to and even now. Taking a military rank was supposed to dispel some of that political influence, but to no avail. I'm still consulted about laws and regulations, so I suppose, to some degree, I am also a politician, albeit not a particularly wealthy one. Undoubtedly. The Penguin Council is far more independent from my influence these days, which is probably for the best. I suppose I prefer being kind of an elder statesman to an actual salaried political force. The nuts and bolts of running a country bore me anyway. I prefer sitting here and lecturing about my ideals to you lot. I prefer artists. People with thorough philosophies are overthinking things. A philosophy is a busybody collection of ideals. An ideal is an abstract of belief. No problem. Now let's return our focus to the complexities of the state as a concept.